words, you would pay far more than you actually do for this product. It's worth more to you than the $200 you paid for it. So at the end of the day, in what respect have you been cheated? You actually haven't. And so what I'm trying to suggest is that a lot of our outrage about the 1% and this and that, I think is fake. I think it's manufactured outrage. And actually it reflects, and human nature is very much like this. There are all kinds of studies about how we use a moral front to disguise the low emotions that actually drive us. So in fact, we're thinking, we would like to get our hands on some of that money. How do we do that? Now, it's kind of bad form to be a pickpocket. And it kind of lacks moral power to say, you have more money than I do. Do you mind if I reach into your wallet and take some of it? It sounds much better to go, you're exploiting the people. You're an evil capitalist. You're a member of the hated 1%. So in some senses, there's an effort here to create a morality that I don't even see exists. Now, to be fair, there have been sophisticated arguments made to defend progressive economic justice. The most sophisticated, in my view, is the argument of Marx. And Marx says, and I see a lot of other arguments building on this, Marx's basic idea is that the capitalist supplies capital. Every company is divided into capitalists and labor. And the capitalist supplies money. And Marx agrees. He says, you know, money deserves a return. But the return is no more than the rate of interest. So if you put your money in the bank, you'll get 3%. So if someone is putting up capital for a business, pay the guy 3%. And then businesses have other costs. You have to rent facilities, and you need equipment, and you need to pay workers. And all of that is called the cost of doing business. But now Marx says, I notice that when businessmen sell a product, they don't just add up all the cost and charge that much. They charge as much as they can get away with. They charge as much as the market will bear. And so the money comes in, which is more than the cost of the business. There's a gap between what came in and what went out. Marx calls that surplus value. We call it profit. And Marx asks a very sophisticated question, who gets that? Now, Marx's whole assumption is that that belongs to the workers. It belongs to society. It doesn't belong to the capitalist. Why? Because the capitalist only supplied capital, and we already paid him. But as I just tried to show you a minute ago, Marx is actually, in my view, totally wrong. Because, in fact, capitalists don't typically supply capital. That's the one thing they don't supply. You think Steve Jobs put up his own money to make the iPhone? No, he went to a bank. He went to a venture capital firm. The real contribution of Jobs had far more to do with the idea for the business, the organization of the business, the assumption of risk, and Marx ignores all of that. He assumes that the workers made the product 100%. And that to me, well, I mean, I don't blame Marx a whole bunch because he didn't really work a day in his life. He was funded by Engels.